Good evening, radio audience. Whoa. It's currently 1:17 a.m., but I had a vision approximately 1 hour ago. Um, okay, here's the backstory. I've tried to make this video like 3 times, like one where I'm kind of like just casually chipping it up. Um, and every single time the video's gotten like screwed up somehow. So, hopefully that doesn't happen again. Here's our concept. Our concept is Minimum Rage by Monochrome Menace, but with Cider Talk 84. And I think to myself, why Cider Talk 84 not Rotten ST? Because that kind of makes more sense for him. But I just think the irony of Cider Talk 84 saying F the corporation would be so funny, and it makes me giggle. So that's what we're doing. I might do Rotten for like some backing vocals or like doubling the chorus, but we'll see. I'm not very good at using Rowan. I like never use him. I don't love his voice. He's probably like my least favorite in terms of the actual sound of their voice, but um he's cool still, and he would suit the song well. So I have a talker because there's the intro thing. I don't think I'm gonna do that today though, because I don't really feel like it. Um Talker mode stuff is pretty straightforward, I think. You kind of just fudge it until it sounds good. And then this one is going to be the main vocal, and then this is going to be Rotten at some point, I think. So that's the vision. Do I need to explain what I'm doing? Or... Okay, so I set the BPM 22 because that's what the song says it is. Have all my stuff set up. Okay. Actually, I accidentally, because it's like my instinct to turn down Cider's Fem Factor to 27, so I already did that to the Ciders, but I haven't done anything with Rotten yet because I don't know how to tune them at all. But yeah, I always keep Cider specifically at 27. The other mask voices I do 25, like the recommended. Actually, that's a lie, because I put Spencer at like 29 or 30 for the Machine Love thing, and it was really cute. He sounded really cute in that, so yeah, but I think my default Cider is 27 because it's just a little bit higher. Like he's a bit more flamboyant with it. Um, and I think it's cute. So that's what we do. I have to look up the lyrics to this song because I don't know them. Holy moly. Okay, so I think pro tip, which is kind of common sense, as I usually have this song open in another tab while I'm working on it so I can, easily reference it. But yeah, yeah, I guess we just start working on it. Let's see. Okay. I think for this, I'm gonna put, okay, do density like 10, then I'm gonna put some growl on it, like 5, or maybe 7. Yeah. Because he's gonna be like kind of pissed off. And I always just instinctively turn up the wave rate in phoneme speed, because you're probably gonna need to anyways, because the default doesn't flow very well. Especially with a song this high energy and this fast. I'm not gonna do the whole song all over one sitting, obviously, but I'll get us started. Yeah. Okay, let me think. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I really don't need to explain what I do. With monotone stuff like this, I usually just throw in little little tiny little note bends, if you could even call them that, just to make it sound more human, I guess. That then feels weird. Why did you say thanks like that? He says thanks. Yeah. Not. Yeah. Okay, so for big jumps like this, I'll do one of these. You know. Because, you know, when humans sing, moving between notes, the previous note will often still be there. And then it, like, quickly shifts, you know? And sometimes I'll get fancy with it, I'll do one of these. So, like, the idea here is basically, we're up high, and then we're supposed to go lower, but we kind of overestimated it first, and we correct ourselves. Because that's something, at least when I'm singing, I tend to do it a lot. Can't really hear it, but it's like, it's just little things like that that I think makes chipspeech sound so much better. Not to say I'm like the best at it, but I think I'm pretty good. In the grand scheme of things, considering, I mean, there's only like 20 people who actively use chipspeech, but I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty good. I'm probably like top 5 at tuning. Not to toot my own horn, you know. I feel like I just think in MIDI files, like in my head. Like, I used to listen to music and like imagine the vocal MIDI in my head before I even used chipspeech. I don't know. It's just something that comes naturally to me, so maybe that's why I'm drawn to it compared to other synths. I don't know. It's all just in one spot, you know? It's not like you don't have to go back and forth like in each Utahu and change what thingy you're adjusting or whatever. It's just all good old piano roll midis, which I love. Meant. It says month, but it should be meant. Maybe like that. No, that's too much. I don't have the accent alphabet memorized. I just kind of BS my way through it. Yeah, that's it. I also think little X sample corrections like that are also something that will really make your songs, your chipspeech stuff sound a lot more high effort, you know? You know, you could put in a little bit of effort. Like, you don't have to do all my fancy stuff that I like to do. You don't have to, you know, do whatever. You can just do whatever you want, you know? But if you want it to sound good, you're gonna have to put in a little bit of effort, okay? And it's not even that hard, okay? It's literally not even that hard. Anyways. Yeah, this bass line is crazy. I never noticed the bass in this song. Wait, hang on. Everyone shut up. Shut up. Oh, I never noticed how cool that bass line is. Holy moly. Sorry. Got distracted. Okay. Space clean. I think it's not here again. Maybe not that low though. No, it is that low. This the original kind of does like a you know. I'm extra fancy. I'm doing some fancy stuff in here just to show you how fancy you can get with it. You know, like one of those. Okay, it's time to put some gosh dang reverb on this guy. Sorry, I put reverb on everything, if you can't tell, if you couldn't tell. If you've ever listened to any of my songs, you might notice I put reverb on literally everything. We do one of these. We do one of these. Who up loving their mid-range frequencies? I am. So too much reverb. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I might change it later. Just gonna copy and paste this and see how well it goes. Okay. So pick up note there. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think there's more of a gap here. And then this is gonna be different. Oh, what? Did I spell something wrong? I think I might have. Oil. Oil is 2 syllables. He says oil as 1 syllable, and you're like, what the heck? That's not matching with my MIDI. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you say oil with 1 syllable? Sometimes I just get confused with that kind of thing. You usually can just put a space, and it's fine. Sometimes you have to adjust the phonemes a little bit, but this usually works fine. Let's see. Yeah. See, okay. Oil. Oh. How do you say oil is 1 syllable? Oil? That's still not 1 syllable. Maybe it's... That's it! I found it. I like that actually. That'd be too much, but I kind of like it. Yeah. Okay. Let's listen to this. What we got so far? Yeah. I kind of want a little bit more growl, but I don't want to overdo it. Let's just see if we can just do all of these and have it be done with. Hang on, there's something weird about the. It's close. This is weird. That works, yeah. Fun fact. Fun little bit of lore. This has happened to me. I went to work once and there was a power outage. Like in like the whole area. Like even the traffic lights were dark. Or they were out. And I was like, oh hell yeah. Day off, a free day off. And then I was about to get back in my car and leave. Because they were like, oh, we're closed for the time being. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was gonna walk back to my car, and then manager poked her head out the door and was like, "Come back here," you know. It's like, what the hell? I was so disappointed. I like part of me wanted to just like ignore her and just keep going, because like the store was closed. Why am I? Anyways, no one cares. But I just this lyric is specifically relatable to me. Okay. Maybe we'll have Rotten double this or like do a lower octave. That would be cool. Like a really low octave. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of higher cider, which is a little his high range is finicky. We can try Yeah. This is so difficult. And you might be asking yourself, why do you do everything by ear? It's kind of because I'm a tryhard. There are actually there's like some website you can use to like convert other decent files into MIDI files and whatever. I just don't feel like doing that because I'm kind of a control freak. I think that's it. Okay, I was way overcomplicating that. I think these should all be a little bit closer together. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I just spent way too long doing that. Yeah. Is it given the circumstances or under the circumstances? Given. Yep. Given the circumstances, I'm doing the very best I can. See, that's why I don't sing. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Slay. I love this song. I love Monochrome Menace. Guys, I look up to Monochrome Menace so much. She's so cool. Oh my god. She's so cool. I think you should go a little longer. I just gotta do my pitch bends in the MIDI, you know, but yeah. And then obviously you can just like, you don't have to do the fancy stuff. I just like to do the fancy stuff, and I think it sounds way cooler. Not to say that like just plain old MIDI notes don't sound cool, but this is what I like to do. And it's really funny because like there's not like a weird way to do it because everyone does it differently. You know, because there are like 20 people who use chipspeech. You really just gotta figure it out yourself. You know what you like to do. Um, so yeah, that's what's something that's really fun about it. It's not like other beats out there. You can just look up a tutorial and like copy whatever the tuning style is, because it's like it's very different, and I like the ways that it's different. So that's my chipspeech phrasing. I've done a lot of that in this video. Okay, let's just listen to what we have. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm gonna copy these guys and then come over to here, paste them in, and then like, boop. That's lowering it an octave if you don't know how FL Studio works. I like to keep I like to put the phoning speed and wave rate at the same, like at least very close to each other when I do harmonies, because if you don't, then they kind of get off. I was gonna say they get off with each other, but that's not a good way to say it. Cider Talk 84 and Rotten ST do not get off on each other. sorry. They like are not in time. Is what I meant. That's what I meant to say. I get shy about swearing when I talk. Is that normal? I don't know. I just feel like it just sounds weird coming out of my mouth. Like I can't say the F word out loud or else it sounds weird. Like, I just don't have the attitude for it, if that makes sense. Which is why I have, uh, chip speeches, chips swear for me. They say everything for me. Everything that I can say is spoken for me, some might even say. Okay, 162 and 170. Everyone remember that. No, that's gonna be so hard to do. So, just high range is weaker. But, like, sliders, you can use it as high range. Whoa, sorry. It just is like, it's a little bit trickier. Dandy's high range is also tricky, but literally everything about tuning Dandy is tricky, so it's like not even a competition. Honestly, yeah, I think overall, okay, not including Daisy, I think Dandy is the hardest to tune. Daisy is the hardest to tune because, she just randomly pronounces things wrong for no reason. Um, and like, she just splits things into syllables weirdly. Um, she's kind of a pain in the butt, but she doesn't count, so I think Danny's probably the most difficult. Actually, yeah, I think I might even say that Dandy is more difficult to use than Spencer. Maybe Voter is harder than Dandy. Sorry. Um, yeah, I think Voter is probably harder than Dandy because his low frequencies are, they just overtake everything, even more than Auto. I barely use Auto also just because he does not usually fit my vision. I don't love his okay. I don't love his voice when I do it. I love his voice when other people use it, but when I do it, I feel like I just can't get it right. Um, which like obviously, just practice it. Just use it more. I just don't like him enough to do that. No hate, no shade to all the auto users out there. I just don't. He's just not as fun for me, if that makes sense. No, I just like to listen to other people use him because like some people go crazy with Automoser, and when I say some people, I mean a hypothesis on YouTube.com. Please, please go listen to her stuff because it's literally so good. It's always so good. But she like only uses Auto, but it's okay because she's really good at it. Like Otto's voice has so much power to it. I just don't know how to access that. That makes sense. I'm gonna make a song with him, like an original song with him at some point, just because he fits that vision. And I'm a little nervous, but I really want to be with Otto because it's kind of like an angrier song. Bro, I got so distracted. I love talking about chip speech. I can just give me any excuse to talk about chip speech, and I'll take it. And maybe I'll make it. I like to make the vibrato higher on harmonies sometimes, and the density. I always like to put the density higher on harmonies because it's like I like to put the density higher because I think it just sounds fuller, you know. And in a harmony, it like because sometimes the increasing the density can sometimes make a voice sound kind of muddy, but when it's in a harmony, or not muddy, but like less articulate, and in a harmony that doesn't matter as much because it's just a harmony. So I like to kind of exaggerate the tuning in a harmony. That was way too much explanation for something really simple. Let's listen to oh my god, keep forgetting how grating his voice is. I always forget how insane his voice is. Turn the sizzle down, maybe? That's weird. Did I lower the... I did lower the octave. Put him in here and freaking mess with his EQ, because it's... Seen people ask, like, why is Rotten British when the Atari ST is not a British computer? It's because he sounds British. Like, if you listen to him, he literally sounds British. So that's so that's why. It's not even like any lore reason or computer history reason. It's just, he just sounds British. Yeah, I think I'm gonna not do the growl on this because his voice is already so growly. I think that sounds okay. I turned down this because, okay, I don't know how to explain it exactly. It kind of it reduces like clicking noises, if that makes sense. Like at the beginning of a word, you know, it's almost like a pop filter. Like if you turn it down, lower. How do you say that word? Sibilance. If you type that word out, I think a red squiggly line appears under it. Like I don't know, I've never heard that word before. But if you turn it down, the attack of words or syllables or whatever is a little less aggressive. If you turn it up, it becomes more aggressive and more articulate, which is good for synths like Dandy and Voder and sometimes D. I think I've turned it up for D on like backwards forwards or something. Just because they weren't. Maybe I turned it down on backwards forwards actually. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Just do whatever you want forever, okay? I'm not your boss. Let's see what his expression will do. Yeah, that's cool. Let's see how it sounds. I also like to sometimes, depending on the style of the song, I like to have the reverb be more intense on harmonies also, but I'm not sure if that really suits this. I like that. I really like Cider and Rotten singing together is a lot cooler than you'd expect. That's cute. That's cute. I like that. They're such an underrated duo because, like, okay, first of all, they released together, but the reason that they released together is really interesting to me. Sorry, I'm gonna nerd out for a second. This has nothing to do with the tuning or whatever. See, you signed up for this. You signed up for unscripted cider talking. See, okay, it's cool that they released together because, you know, in the mid '80s, the Atari ST and the Amiga 1000. It was just called the Amiga at the time, but in the future, when other Amigas released, that one was retrospectively it was retconned to be Amiga 1000. So those two released together, and they were like competitors because I think the Atari ST was a little bit more experimental, but it was less expensive, and then the Amiga 1000. Oh, I'm so fascinated with the Amiga 1000. Sorry, the Amiga 1000 was more expensive, but it had more features. And you know those, if you don't know, are obviously maybe not obviously the voice sources of Cider and Rotten. So it's cool that their characters released together, like the computers did, and they're also complete foils of each other because they're like competitors. The computers were competitors in real life, which is so cool to me. Because like you know, because Rotten's like punk and badass, and then Cider is like billionaire CEO, so it's like just absolute foils of each other, which I think is so cool. It's so cool to me. I love when the freaking real stories of the computers impacts the behavior of the chips. It's so cool. It's so cool. Like Cider being fraudulent in a way because of how the Macintosh like, in 1984, like the one in the introduction video was not actually, it was like an enhanced version or like a prototype of a future Mac that came out later, you know, so they were just using that one so that they could run the fancy visuals and the voice at the same time, which is cool. It's just cool to me because there's like a lot of drama with the 1984 Macintosh. It's very fascinating. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, I think, should I do I'll do the talker. Why not? Yeah, okay. That's good enough. Whatever. Put it in left here, maybe. Just for the heck of it.
How can I help you?
I think that's all we'll do for now. That was like a little over an hour, I guess. Um, I really like my cute little PNG tuber. I made him myself. Do you love it? Cause I do. I think it's so cute. Look at how the little lights on the antennas they get brighter when I talk, which is cute. Okay, I don't do outros. I don't know how this works. I don't. This is a little awkward. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I hope you buy chipspeech. It's only $75, and you get 12 and a half voice banks, and uh, it's really good, and it's really underrated. And people who say it's difficult to use are just um, they're just working with big vsynth to make you hate chipspeech, essentially. um, uh, let's buy chipspeech, purchase it, clog.com, and then we can have some fun together. Yay!